Hi, I'm Benji Hardy. I've got your news headlines for Wednesday, January 27th. To start off with, Cecile Blucker, the director of the Division of Children and Family Services at the Arkansas Department of Human Services, will leave her position at the end of March. Blucker will have been in charge of the state's Agency on Child Welfare for 7 years, and last year, her agency came under increased public and legislative scrutiny for a number of high-profile cases, plus an unprecedented rise in the number of children in the statewide foster system. However, DHS spokesperson Amy Webb told the Arkansas Times today that Blucker has not been asked to step down, but rather that it's a decision she made herself. And later in the day, the governor said that Blucker's departure was unexpected, but praised her for her, quote, extraordinary public service for the state and thanked her for agreeing to stick around until the end of March. Speaking of those high-profile cases, just to review, in one of those cases involved State Representative Justin Harris. In that case, Blucker specifically came under fire for her supposed role in the adoption of 2 young girls by Justin and Marcia Harris. Those were the sisters that were later, quote, rehomed with another family where one was sexually abused. After that case broke, 2 former foster parents of the girls, Cheryl and Craig Hart, plus a former worker at the Division of Children and Family Services, both told the Arkansas Times that Blucker personally intervened in the Harris adoption proceedings, which occurred back in 2012. They claim that Blucker pressured local DCFS staff to recommend the Harris adoption proceed, overriding the objections of the local team. However, at the time, Blucker would not offer any comment on those allegations, since DCFS, citing state confidentiality laws regarding child welfare cases, can't comment on individual cases. Moving on, citing evidence and testimony that has come to light during the discovery phase of a federal civil rights lawsuit filed in 2011, the family of Eugene Ellison, an African-American man killed by a white Little Rock Police Department officer in 2010, has asked Pulaski County Prosecutor Larry Jegley to reopen the controversial police shooting case. Meanwhile, a federal civil rights trial that's long been delayed will begin on May 9th. The U.S. Supreme Court recently declined to consider an appeal from Lesher, the police officer, who contended she should be immune from the lawsuit. Just to review a bit about that case, Ellison, age 67, was shot and killed on October 9th, 2010 in his apartment home near the corner of University and Colonel Glenn in Little Rock, after 2 LRPD officers working off-duty security entered his open door. According to official police reports, after Ellison tried to push the 2 officers out, an altercation ensued. Ellison then attacked the 2 officers, supposedly with his walking cane and a baton that he was able to wrestle away from one of the officers, and that is when Donna Lesher shot him twice with her service handgun. More details on this story are on the Arkansas Times blog. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said today that over 68,000 people in Arkansas have now signed up for health coverage through healthcare.gov or have had their existing coverage automatically renewed. Now, those individuals are a separate population from the estimated 250,000 Arkansans who are covered by the state's expansion of Medicaid for low-income adults, which is popularly called the private option. That brings the total number of Arkansans who have been covered through some sort of program through the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, to well over 300,000 people. Nationwide, there's about 8.9 million consumers that have signed up for health coverage through healthcare.gov. And consumers have just 4 more days to sign up for coverage before the January 31st deadline for enrollment. Finally, speaking of countdowns, the Iowa caucuses are coming up in just 5 days on February 1st, and you may have heard that Republican frontrunner Donald Trump will be skipping the final GOP debate of the primary season tomorrow because he has a problem with Megyn Kelly, the Fox News pundit moderating the debate. What can we say about this? Really, let's just read a little bit from Trump's statement explaining his actions. The following is an official statement from the Donald Trump campaign. Unlike the very stupid, highly incompetent people running our country into the ground, Mr. Trump knows when to walk away. Roger Ailes and Fox News think they can toy with him, but Mr. Trump doesn't play games. He will not be participating in the Fox News debate and will instead host an event in Iowa to raise money for the veterans and wounded warriors who have been treated so horribly by our all-talk, no-action politicians. Like running for office as an extremely successful person, this takes guts, and it is the kind of mentality our country needs in order to make America great again. That was pretty fun. All right, we'll be back tomorrow.